Hello. In this video, we are going to be looking at writing equations of lines between 2 points. This again is another critical skill from Algebra 1 that is important in all levels of math. So we're going to write the equation of the line between the points -2, 5, and then 2, -3. I'm going to show you two different ways to write equations of lines, and then there will likely be a practice problem at the end as well. So the very first thing we need to do in order to find the equation of the line is we need to start by finding our slope. Our slope was y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if we label these x1, y1, x2, y2, then our slope will be -3, minus 5 over 2 minus -2. Which is going to get us a slope of -8 over +4, which gets us a slope of -2. Now, what many of you were taught in Algebra 1 was just using the equation of y equals mx plus b to write the equation of a line. Now, this is definitely an equation that works. What we are going to do is we are going to use the slope that we just found, and one of these 2 points, it doesn't matter which one you use, and we're going to substitute these in there. So I'm going to start by substituting in the slope, so y equals -2x plus b. We're now going to substitute in our point for x and y, and we're going to use that to solve for b. So this is going to get us -3 equals -2 times 2 plus b, which is going to get us -3 equals -4 plus b. We then add the 4 to both sides, and our b value is 1. Once we have our b value, we're going to take that and put it back into the equation, and that gets us the equation of our line is y equals -2x plus 1. Now, let's see if that actually works or not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to graph this. Now, typically, we don't have to graph it, but this is the way we're going to check. We're going to go to -2, +5, and then we are going to go to the point 2 and -3. And if we connect between there, we get this. Now, that looks like it goes through a y-intercept at 0, 1, with the slope of down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, and it seems that it's the right equation. So this is one way to write the equation of a line. Now we are going to look at a second formula. So our new formula is called the point slope equation. And that general equation is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, or y minus k equals m times x minus h. Now, there's 2 things here. Number 1 is the second formula is probably what we're going to get used to using more often. And I want to show you where this equation comes from, though. So where does this equation come from? So we're going to start with our slope formula. And our slope formula was y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That gets you the value of the slope. Now, using algebra, I'm going to go ahead and put m over 1, and now I'm just going to cross multiply. So this is going to get me 1 times y2 minus y1 is equal to m times x2 minus x1. Now, 1 times anything doesn't change the value, so the left is just going to be y2 minus y1 equals, and then this is m times x2 minus x1. And now, the way that we get the point slope formula is we have this equation, and essentially, the first x and y are just used as placeholders instead of actually being one of the points. So that's going to get us our formula y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Often we can talk about our points instead of x and y. They're often labeled as h and k. Now this is true in terms of movement of parabolas, movement of different graphs. And so with that, the centers of circles, So what we're doing is we're going to substitute h and k in place of x1 and y1. So that's why we get y minus k equals m times x minus h. This formula is used often in calculus, so we really want to make sure that you know where those values are coming from. Okay, so now let's do an example. I want to write the equation between negative 5, 1 and negative 3, 9. So we still have to find the slope first. So our slope is going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's going to get us a slope of 9 minus 1 over negative 3 minus negative 5, which gets us 8 over positive 2, which gets us a slope of positive 4. And now we're going to go to our point slope form. So let's erase some of those little issues. So now our point slope form is going to be y minus k is equal to m times x minus h. One of our points we're going to label hk. So I'm going to take this negative 5, 1 and label it hk. So that means our equation is y minus 1 equals the slope of 4 times x minus negative 5. So this gets us y minus 1 equals, I'm going to distribute this out, and then the two negatives change to a positive. So 4x plus 20, and then add the 1 to the other side, and that gets us an equation of y equals 4x plus 21. This would be the equation between those 2 points. Now again, if we were to go ahead and graph this, we would hopefully see that this graph would go through a really high point. Now, I want you to try one. So using either formula, I want you to write the equation between, so I want to write the linear equation between let's go with negative 4, 6 and 2, negative 6. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to start by finding the slope. So if you can do this whole thing on your own and then go through and check, then do that. Otherwise, I want you to try to find the slope and do it on your own, stop the video, and then come back and check it. And then afterwards, we'll use the equation of the line. So our slope is going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which gets us our slope to be negative 6 minus 6 over, so negative 6 minus 6 over 2 minus negative 4. Now, if you notice, I drew those lines, and I'm drawing the lines to make sure that I'm consistently going in the same order. So this is going to get us a slope of negative 12 over positive 6, which gets us a slope of negative 2. After you find the slope, we're now going to do the equation. So again, try and do the equation, check it, or stop the video, let it go through, and then check your answer. I like to get used to the new equation. So y minus k equals m times x minus h. I'm going to choose one of the values and label them h and k. And then I'm going to show you that if you use the other h and k, you would have gotten the same value. So this is going to get us y minus negative 6 is equal to negative 2 times x minus 2, which gets us y plus 6 equals negative 2x plus 4. Subtract the 6. And we get our equation of y equals negative 2x minus 2. Now, what would have happened if we used the other h and k? So if we used the other h and k, that would have gotten us y minus 6. So now this is h and k here. So y minus 6 equals negative 2 times x minus negative 4. The two negatives here are going to change to a positive. So y minus 6 equals negative 2x minus 8. Add the 6 to the other side, and we still get y equals negative 2x minus 2. And likewise, if you would have used point slope form or the slope intercept form, so if you would have used y equals mx plus b, I'm going to use the point of negative 4, 6. So our point was negative 4, 6. And we're going to say y equals negative 2x plus b. So 6 equals negative 2 times negative 4 plus b. So 6 equals 8 plus b. Subtract the 8. And our b value is still negative 2, which still gets us the equation y equals negative 2x minus 2. So any way you do it, you get the same answer.